Hello everybody, how you doing? My name is Mason Cromwell and this is my casting for the hit TV show. Don't know what the name is, doesn't matter. But the theme around being able to transform things with wood or metal, and I have some skill sets that I've worked with steel, I've worked with wood. I'm not a carpenter, I'm not a metal worker, never have been. It's been a hobby of mine and a passion, and I can always see the vision in it. You know, for some of the things I can't do. I have a lot of friends that have been able to do it for me based on the design or what I want. I've probably transformed, things sitting at the side of the road or just a vision, and just picked something up and transformed it to make it usable and an accent to my house, a friend's house. Upwards of 44 items or more, just as a passion of mine. And when I saw this casting on the website, I thought, hey, why not? So I've got a little studio here that I have created. I haven't transformed a piece in a while, but I found this little end table. It's standalone, as it was down in the dark and dungy basement, and it just seemed like the right piece. It's quicker, it's easier, and I can show you my personality, how I work, and I want to show you, the creativity and what I can transform this to look like. It was a beautiful piece, it still is a beautiful piece, and at one time it worked with whatever the design was for the layout, and I'm sure it had its own coffee table and matching end table. But once I'm done with it, it can be used as an entranceway table. It can be used as an accent, and it'll just pop within the design of wherever it is. So as you can see here, I've got this piece here that I've picked up. It's pretty solid. It's quite heavy, to be honest with you. Had to give a little extra oomph to get it up on the table here. But it's all the same color. Looks like there's some laminate to it as well, but that's okay. I mean, for what we want it to do and look and function, that doesn't matter as long as you're not sanding down on areas down through where you actually see the laminate, because that makes it very difficult when you're doing clearer stains and things like that. No problems here. So I'm going to start to take it apart. I'll tear it apart on basically how I go through the project from start to finish, and do my best to edit, pull it together, and send it out to you guys. And at the end of the day, I'm going to end up with a beautiful functional piece that whether I use it or someone else uses it, that's all that matters. And that's what it's all about not only bringing the creativity out in this piece myself, but inspiring others to do the same with their time and their own creativity. All right, here we go. Fire, water, coffee, get the project started is the first, and it is necessary. I've already had half a cup, so I'll finish this while we get a move on. So as you can see here, drawers in very good condition. The drawer guide is not broken. It is plastic, but it is not cracked or broken, so I don't have to do anything there to it. The drawer did slide in and out very easily on there. May have to make some adjustments here on the mounts because it didn't seem to sit square, but at the end of the day, that's okay. A little bit dirty. A couple little spiders sitting on here that we'll just see on their way. Wish them well on another project. And here we go. So drawers in good condition. You see here this latch here is going to be changed. I will keep it. I always keep all my latches, in the event that there is a piece that I'm going to change the color of the steel, which works. Or works for a piece, because there are pieces with similar latches that have them missing when I do find them at times, so I always keep them. Okay, so what we have to do is we had to take the screws out of the back side here, but I've already done that just for ease of this video and to speed it up a little bit. So that latch is going to come off. Okay, and for some of the handles that we use, or the vision that I have, the holes don't line up, and that's okay, and that will be for okay. So I'm back. So as I was saying before, these holes here, they actually line up for the pole handle that I've chose. So I don't have to do anything additional to it. Whereas a lot of pieces, what I'll have to do is I've worked out a technique that works and actually fill in the holes. You can do it with a dowel if you'd like, with the dowel, but I still found with the dowel it seems to leave a line and it doesn't blend. So I just tape off the backs and I use a wood filler, fill it up. Once I sand it off nice and easy, it comes out nice and smooth and you don't see the holes. But this one matches up, which is great. So here's it. I made the choice. It's meant to be for this one and not trying to force anything. So I'll leave that together because I have to clean it up. Set that off to the side here. Okay. So now we have the top here. We have to pull out some of the screws here. Okay. Okay. So screws are out. I already pulled out a bunch of the screws again just to speed this up for the ease of the video. And now the screws are out, make sure you always have a box, a container. Highly recommend it. I think we've all done it. We start to pull things apart, we set a screw aside, the screw rolls off, we step on the screw, which isn't great, or we boot it like a soccer ball and it's gone underneath. How many of you have kicked a screw or something and it went down the register or went down in between the cracks or something that there is absolutely no way you're getting it back? And it's not the easiest to find a screw that length to match up, you know, although you can, but it's unnecessary, right? We've all done it, and most certainly I've done it more than once. But always have a container, put your screws in, that way you have them when you're ready to put it back together. Your project goes so much smoother. Okay, so now we have the top here. Now when you have pieces like this, they tend to stick together, and it is wood, and wood will, you know, splinter and pull and peel and stuff in funny ways. So you're gonna wanna, I have, what I use is a little nail puller here because it's multifunctional if I have to pull nails out or anything. But what I'll do is I'll go around and just underneath and just crack it just a little bit all the way around, okay? On the underside. That way you're not marking up the top side or anything, okay? And then as you work your way around, see that it will pull up and you'll hear it crack and snap, and then you'll be ready to tear it apart. So now it's ready to pull off. Now I've got the top off. Now you can see here that it looks like it's got a piece of laminate over top, and then the edges are solid wood, but it's like it's laminate, a laminate piece. The underside again appears, yeah, it is a laminate, which is okay. We still make it look nice. You just have to be much more careful because the wood on top is solid. It's real wood. If you go too far, then you'll get into pieces of the laminate, which is very difficult to hide unless you're going with a solid color. So this has a nice little design to the laminate. So once I sand it up, I want to see how it looks, and with some of these grains, it might actually pop and look nice for what I'm looking at doing. But again, we'll see. Each one is different. Put that off to the side. Now we have the base here. See, the base has all these nice little designs. Etched into the wood, carved into the wood, which is nice. It will make it pop with the color that I've chosen. I've chosen a cottage white. Cottage white is you know, a little white piece in any design makes it pop. You know, there's the whites, the blues, or if you have a full white, you know, everything is really bright in the room, then I might go with something a little bit darker. But I want to choose a white because if I use it dark just like the way it is, then you're not going to see these little lines that I'll be able to pull through once I do the little bit of the distressing to make it, you know, look a little bit, have a little bit of edge to it. So I'm going to clean it up then I'm gonna get it started painting. Okay, so hang on tight. Here we go. Gotta have my coffee. Gotta have your coffee. That is a definite. Okay, so I want to get it all cleaned up so that the paint, once it does go on, it does stick. You don't get any dust spots or pulls in the onto the wood, and because it will gum up a little bit and you will see it. So you just want to take your time, but make sure that you're cleaning it up the best you can. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. And this is a transformation piece. It's supposed to have its own little character. Yeah, and this one especially, it's been down in a grungy basement. Does have excess dust on it, cobwebs, all those wonderful things that you don't want to catch with your paintbrush. Get it into the paint and see that. Okay, so now that I'm cleaning this up, wiping it down, getting it all cleaned and ready to be painted, seeing that I've got some of the legs which are quite loose. So what I'm going to do is reset them a little bit deeper. Easier to do now while it's torn apart once you get everything together. So let's fix up what we need to while we're here. I've got this handy, it's a handy little attachment that works very well for furniture. Sometimes they put screws in places that you have no idea how they got them there. And they got them there before they nailed something down or glued something down, and you can't get at it. But this attachment, which I actually got from my dad, it's just flexible. It's just like on a spring. So once I get it set inside with the drill, I'm on an angle. As you can see, I can get in weird, awkward spaces with the drill to get the screws and the attachments out. So each one of these legs here seems to be giving me at least 2 revolutions. So each of these screws here seems to be giving me at least 2 revolutions. You want to be careful with the drill. Make sure you have it on the hammer setting. That way you're not pulling them in too much. You don't want to crack the wood. A lot of these items are old, so the wood is drier than most. So it does have a tendency to crack a lot easier. It will have a tendency to crack a lot easier. So you just want to be careful to have it on a hammer setting. Just use a hand drill, take your time. There's no sense in wasting time and having something crack on you, and then it's going to take you a couple hours to glue it and fix it to make sure that you have a strong and sturdy piece. I mean, who knows, you want to have the piece, you might want to have someone dancing at a party on it. Who knows, you want to have it strong enough, right? Someone has to sit on it or whatever you're using it for. Just make sure you do it right up front. Take your time to follow the steps. So what I have here again is the cottage paint. So now everything's tightened up. I want to leave that there. I'll be looking for it later. So now I have everything cleaned up. I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way. Keep our workspace as clean as we can. Now that we're gonna get on to the painting. So we'll start to paint this piece. We'll start to paint this piece with the cottage white. This piece is going to take, we'll see how it covers. I've got chalk paint. I like to use chalk paint. It's easy to apply, it goes on. And for this application, the way it looks, I just think it really looks, gives it character, gives it more character. Once I distress it and pull out certain elements within it, it goes on easy. Depending on the piece, the color of it, sometimes it takes 3 coats, maybe 2 coats, but again, we'll see. We'll get started on the painting, and once the painting's done, I'm going to shift over in between 2, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to start to sand the top, get this top sanded, kind of, see what it's going to look like once it's sanded and on the white, and then go from there. Here we go. All right, here we go. I'm back. Now we've got it all set here. We're all prepped, ready to go. Ready to start to paint this, the base of this here. I'm not making any major changes to it right at this moment. But I'm going to get it painted white, and then once the top goes on, we might make some minor little changes to it. We'll see. But I've got my paint going. Make sure. It's always a good idea. I know this is a smaller can that I'm just using just for this application, but regardless, you're going to want to mix it up and just make sure that it's consistent. Even though it gets shaken up, it still has a tendency to separate, and it's not consistent throughout. And you'll find that once you get going that you're painting, if you haven't mixed it up, then the top is a lot thinner than the base. Then you get to the base and it seems to be so thick that it's not spreading properly or evenly, and it can cause you some issues, and I've been down that path. So you know what, we live and we learn, and I've learned quite a few lessons on just kind of taking the project on and doing it myself, watching other things, talking to other people, and just learn by doing. Our creative expression. Okay, so I've got the paint all mixed up. I have my paintbrush ready to go. Paintbrush all ready to go here. And away we go. Here we go. The first application is on. So with this, as I said, the idea here isn't to, put too much paint on where you're going to get it all down inside the little engravings of the wood, because you want to be able to use that as part of this new piece and the transformation that's going to come with it. So you're going to want to make sure that it's not too thick, you're not going over it too much. I mean, you want the outside not to be transparent. You want to have enough paint on it, but you also don't want to put too much on your brush while you're going over these here, because then you will fill them all with, all of these little etchings. You'll fill them all up with paint, and then it doesn't pop as much and you don't see it. So it's just some of the little things when you're working on a project, right? Just be mindful of that. Not about covering everything, because then you're losing some of the character of the artwork, or what some of the lines and the symmetry that the pieces have, and just something that will come with time, and you'll see and you'll recognize, right? And just go from there. So I'm gonna paint this, put the first coat on, and then we'll catch up once we get all this painted, and then we will see what it looks like after it's painted. Then we'll get on to the base, and we'll keep rocking this, and let's see what comes out of it. Looking forward to it. Awesome. Very exciting. I'm so excited when I do all my pieces, and it's just a passion. Here we go. Okay, so I've got coat on the bottom here. I just have to flip it over, that way I can get the bottoms and I'm not painting all over the table too much. It's okay, it is water-based paint. This paint that I use, this product that I use, warm water, it wipes up, it wipes off very easily. It's the same on anything you use, which is why I love using it. It's very easy. You get it somewhere you don't want it, which we've all done it. Every painter, anybody creative has always gotten it someplace they don't want it. But as you can see here, you can see in now how the wood has been, the engravings in it, how it's been, you can see how it pops, right? Now you see with the white, I haven't gone too deep. There's a couple spots where I got a little bit of paint in, and I'll show you the trick later on. You just need a little nail and it pulls it out nice and easily, and you can, it makes it a little bit clearer, it makes it pop for what you want it to be, right? So that really just adds to that table on how it pops in the room, and how it will actually pull all into the finished product when we're done, and how it's going to look when we're done. So flip it over, paint, and then we'll go on to a second coat, and we'll get started with the top and keep going. We're on our way to transforming this wonderful end table. Hello everybody. So I've run into a little bit of an issue here, nothing that can't be resolved, so I had to think outside of the box a little bit. So the top of this is a very, very thin laminate, so you can, as I've done my best to try and sand it down to get through the stain, it's starting to pull up some of the laminate underneath, which doesn't look the greatest. So what I'm going to do is make it even a little more rustic looking. So I have some old skids that I've torn apart, and I'm going to use that to resurface the top. So the base, I can still use this. I'll reuse this as a base. It's not really functional for anything else to use on any other projects moving forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I've got to take the guide for the drawer guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this, recenter this. I'm going to fasten it back down, take the drawer guide off, center it back up so the drawer slides in and out. And then what I'm going to do is I've got these the skid torn apart, which is nice and rustic, and it's got some stains and things which will pull nice once I do stain it. So I'm going to paint the underside of this all white so that it blends in with the rest. And then, as you can see here, I'm going to mount some rustic pieces from a skid. There'll be some random sizes that are there, and I'm going to lay those on top, figure out what the overhang, what looks the best with the overhang. And then once they're all mounted, we'll sand the top, stain it, and then we'll move on to some of the next stages that I'll show you of how this piece transforms into like a rustic, unique piece within, you know, any house, as I've already discussed. I'm excited. You know, the challenge was presented. We got to think outside of the box, and that's what being creative is all about. I'm really, really looking forward to how this piece finishes up for everybody. Stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, here we go, everybody. We're at the final product. Okay, so it's come together really nice. It's very tough to see through the camera right now, but I am ecstatic about how it all came together. It's even better than I anticipated. Now that I was able to use some old skids, it really brings the top. It just makes it pop. You can't see now, but I will show you. I will take the camera around and I'll get a close up to see. They've got all the nice edges that are distressed, and all these lines just pop now with the cottage white. The top, which is rustic, and it just because it's different kinds of woods, it just pops and it pulls in different areas in the wood, and it just really adds to the piece, adds to the character of the piece, and it's it's unique. It's one of a kind now, and you can put this anywhere, and I'll show you after. But excited how it's turned out. Functions, looks fantastic. On to the next project. Hello everyone. So here we go, we have the finished product. As you can see here, you can see how it's pulled out the natural wood grains in the top of the wood from the skids that have torn apart. They're from multiple different skids, so with the skids there's no special requirement for what's being used. Different types of wood, pulls differently, different colors, especially when you sand it down and you have no idea where the wood's been. It's traveled, been weathered, it's been subject to different environments, so it always has something special to show. You can see here now that I've used with the white, you can see how it pops. I've distressed it a little bit to bring out the edges, just to make the piece really show and really pop in a nice little rustic or shabby chic way is what the terminology is now. Some use it anyways. So here we go. See, looks good, functions. Nice little accent piece to anyone's home. Front table, could be used as an end table, could be used as a night table. So from what it was to where it is now, new piece, go to a new home, just brighten it up. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to the next project. Take care.